Microsoft Word Accessibility Training. When working with Microsoft documents, remember the accessibility requirements you must do to make your documents accessible. Add a title to the document's properties. Use proper headings. Add alternate text to graphics conveying information. Add table headers to tables. Use descriptive links. Use color in an accessible way, and always check for accessibility. Title. Add the title and the properties of the document to assist screen readers. The screen reader uses the title and the properties to know the document's name. Imagine a screen reader user downloading multiple documents from our website. If the user wants to open a particular document at a later time, the title and the properties will help the user find the correct document. If the documents don't have titles in the properties, the user would have to open each one to know which document they're looking for. Copy the title of the document and paste it into the properties. To do that, go to File, click on Info on the left side menu. On the info screen, the right side properties will be listed, and there's a field for the title. Paste your title in there. Headings create the structure screen readers need to navigate documents. On the home ribbon, you will find the Style section where the headings are located. There's also a title style, but don't use that for your main title. Use heading 1 for the main title instead. Let's look at another way we can apply headings to an existing document. First, make sure headings are formatted as they should on the document. In this example, headings have blue text, are large font sizes, and bold. Start by applying heading 1 to the document. Remember, heading 1 is the main title of your document. Regardless if the main title is on a cover page or as the first line of the document, it's the same process. Select your title, hover over heading 1 on the home ribbon, right-click on it, and select the first option, Update Heading 1 to match selection. We've now applied heading 1 to the document. Next, we'll apply heading 2 to the document. Same process. Select your heading 2, hover over the heading 2 style on the home ribbon, right-click on it, and select Update Heading 2 to match selection. Heading 2 is now applied to the document. The reason we're right-clicking on the style on the home ribbon is to copy the format you've applied to it on the document so it can be its default format moving forward. Now, on the other heading 2s, we'll do the same thing. We'll select it on the document, but this time we do a regular click on the heading 2, and now the same format we've used on the first heading 2 is now applied to this heading 2. Again, just select it and click on your heading now. Make sure you apply the same techniques and process to heading 3s and any heading 4s on your document. Heading 3s are going to be subsections of heading 2s. And headings applied from the styles have many benefits. For screen reader users, headings create the navigation they can use to find certain sections of content on a document. This is really helpful with documents that have many pages. Imagine a screen reader user needing to find certain sections of content on a document that is 30 pages long. The user might need to have a lot of the document read before they find the content. With headings, the user can quickly find the sections because headings act like bookmarks for screen readers. For sighted users, headings will provide a consistent formatting throughout the document. Headings also create the foundation to table of contents. On your reference ribbon, select Table of Contents and one of the built-in options. This will build the table of contents. The headings found on the document is what Word will use to construct the table of contents. This is why nesting your headings correctly is important. Headings also provide anchor or jump links. Anchors are a way to link within the document to a certain section. You can only link to headings. Select the text that will be the link that takes you to a certain section of the heading. Right-click on it. Select Link from the menu. On the left side, click on Place in this document and select the heading or the section the link needs to go to, and then OK. Alternative text or alt text is a text equivalent description for graphics conveying information. Adding alt text to your Office document, right-click on the image, select Edit Alt Text from the menu, and the alt text panel will appear on the right. In the box, enter your alt text. Use alt text that conveys the intended purpose of the image based on the context of your document. For decorative images, select your image and check the Mark as Decorative option on the alt text panel. Alt text should be concise, but enough to describe the graphic. Avoid using phrases such as picture of, image of, or words like logo and chart in the alt text. This is redundant for screen readers. Automatic alt text. If you insert an image or an icon onto your document, an alt text will appear at the bottom of the image for a short time. This only happens for inserted images or icons. Copied images, shapes, charts, and smart art don't get the automatic alt text. The phrase description automatically generated is also added as part of the alt text. This will also add a category in the accessibility checker called Intelligent Services. Make sure you remove that phrase description automatically generated in your alt text. A new feature in Office 365 is the automatic alt text. Images and icons inserted onto the document will have automatic alt text created for them. Images that are copied with no alt text, shapes, charts, and smart art will not get automatic alt text. When you insert an image onto the document, the automatic alt text will appear at the bottom of the image. Also, the alt text panel will have the phrase description automatically generated as part of the alt text. And the image will show up on the accessibility checker under Intelligent Services. This is to remind you that the image needs a review of the alt text. Most times, the automatic alt text will not be appropriate alt text for the image. You will need to review the alt text all the time this feature is turned on. Another alt text feature in Office 365 is the Generate a Description for Me button found on the alt text panel. This is provided for images that don't have alt text. It's the same feature as the automatic alt text, where the description automatically generated phrase is added as part of the alt text. And the image will also show up in Intelligent Services of the accessibility checker. The automatic alt text Microsoft generates for images is not suggested because it's not accurate and will need your review all the time it's used. When working with charts, alt text might not be the best option. Instead, use a text summary on the document. Add a text summary of all the information and data the chart is providing onto the document. And mark the chart as decorative. This will help the screen reader users access the information the chart is providing and also help sighted users that might need assistance with the data. Any elements on your document that contains text like placeholders or text boxes and also has background color or borders will need to be marked as decorative. Overall, this will help with accessibility on converted PDF versions. Not marking your placeholders with background colors or borders as decorative will cause issues when documents are converted to PDF. The document will have extra figure tags that are not needed and without alt text, which will cause errors in the accessibility checker. You will also require to do extra steps in Adobe to make your document accessible. Marking placeholders as decorative will convert your document to a better tagged and readable document, which will help with accessibility. Remember, only mark placeholders, shapes, or text boxes that contain content and have a background color or border will need to be marked decorative. Tables should have table headers and used for data, not layout. In Word, there's many ways you can insert a table, but there's only one correct method to do this. On the Insert ribbon, select Table. This will provide a drop-down grid option to select the size of your table. If the dimension of your table is not available, you can select the Insert Table option at the bottom of the grid. This will open an Insert Table window where you can insert the columns and rows of your table. When you click OK, the table gets inserted where your cursor was. A new feature in Office 365 is that table headers are now applied automatically to tables. To see or change the table headers, click anywhere on the table. This will create two new tabs for table, one called Table Design and the other Layout. Click on the Table Design tab to open the ribbon and find the table headers in the Table Style Options section. The header row and first column boxes are selected as the default table headers on all newly inserted tables. Table headers are needed so that screen readers can have the headers read to them as they navigate through the table. Screen readers speak one cell at a time and reference the header cell so that user doesn't lose context. For this table example, the table can just have the row header, which is the top row, as the table header. This simple table just relies on the top row as reference or header for the data. In the next sample table, the table would be better to have both the row header and the first column, which is the left column, as the table headers. The first column on this table also acts like a header for the data in correspondence with the top row. With these kind of tables, leave the default table header, header row, and first column. Sometimes you will have tables that expand to the next page. In this situation, make sure your table row also expands with the table to the next page. Instead of adding a new header row on the table that expands to the next page, click on any cell of the table row. Click on the Layout tab and select the Repeat Header Row from the ribbon. This will add the header row at the top of the table on the next page. Links need to be informative enough to let users know what they do or where they go. Overall, links should be meaningful when read out of context. Screen readers have the ability to read all links found on the document, so every link should be descriptive enough to inform the user what it does or where it goes. Links that say click here, here, more are not informative and don't help users know where they go. Most times, phrases rather than single words are better options for descriptive links, and sometimes rewriting a sentence might be necessary. Only links should be underlined, and embed the link address in the descriptive text of the link. This is better for electronic formats instead of a long URL web address. To better show you how descriptive links help screen reader users, we'll have an example of 4 sentences that have uninformative links. will rewrite the sentences with better descriptive links. When the links are read out of context, the descriptive links are informative and help users know where they go, instead of the links that say click here, here, more, or register. A list of links is how screen readers can access links on documents and why it's important to have them descriptive. Another useful feature in Microsoft Office is the screen tip. The screen tip is optional to use on links, but can be helpful to users when linking to special worded links. The screen tip works as a label when a user hovers over the link. This label or screen tip should provide additional information about the link if needed. In this example, we're going to add a screen tip to the link TAC section 74.26. We start by editing the link so we can get the hyperlink window open. On the top right, the screen tip button will appear. When you click on that, another window appears. This is where you add your text for the screen tip. For this example, we're going to write out what TAC means and also add the word section for what that symbol on the link means. The screen tip text is now Texas Administrative Code section 74.26. We'll click OK. That closes the window, and then we can hit OK on the main hyperlink window. Meet accessible color standards. Many times color is overlooked as an accessibility standards. You should have enough contrast between text and background colors. Use the Color Contrast Analyzer tool to check if your document has high contrast text so colorblind users can see all the content. Also, don't use color as the only way to convey information. Screen readers can't interpret color. Add additional information to support what the color is conveying. Use the accessibility checker when working on your document. The checker is a great built-in tool that helps you find the common accessibility errors. At any time while working on your document, you can use the checker. You don't need to wait until all your content has been placed on the document to use it. It's suggested to do an accessibility check every 2 to 3 pages of content you create. This is to help you fix any issues that might cause other accessibility issues. Or you can leave the accessibility checker panel open while you work on your document. It registers accessibility errors in real time. The checker will only find the accessibility issues, not fix them for you, but it does provide explanations on issues and suggestions on how to fix them. If no issues are found, it does not mean your document is 100% accessible. The checker is limited on some of the WCAG checkpoints it can inspect, like distinguishing color. It's also suggested to use a checklist as a double check on accessibility. The Office 365 checker will be the same to use across the 3 main Office applications: Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. To use it, go to the Review ribbon, click on Check Accessibility. This will open the Accessibility Checker panel on the right side of the screen. Many issues are going to be the same across the 3 applications, but some issues are specific to the application. The Accessibility Checker panel will have all the accessibility issues listed in categories. Errors are critical and cause problems for most users. Warnings are issues that could cause problems for some users. And tips are suggestions to improve the user's experience. It's best to fix all issues in all categories. Categories will list the issues found on the document, and if you click on the expand arrow, it will show the actual element that has the issue. When you click on the element, it will take you to the page and select the element on the document so you can see it and fix it. To fix accessibility issues, use the checker. It explains why to fix issues and steps on how to fix them. Each element on the checker has a drop-down that provides recommended actions on fixing them. There's also a new category in the checker called Intelligent Services. This category appears on the checker when graphics are using automatic alt text Microsoft provided. You can use the recommended actions from the drop-down for these issues too. Select Verify Description to have the Alt Text panel open, and remove the phrase Description Automatically Generated. This will also remove the element from the Intelligent Services category on the checker. With the Alt Text panel open, verify the alt text. Most times the automatic alt text Microsoft provided is not accurate. You can make the change at this time. Restricted documents can prevent screen readers from accessing content. Screen readers sometimes don't have access to some or all the content. It's suggested to not provide any restrictions. To remove restrictions, select the Change Permission button from the yellow ribbon and uncheck the Restrict Permission on this document checkbox. Sometimes documents don't need to be restricted. Documents are not allowed to be modified on our platforms by anyone. Only internal users with permissions can make these changes. If you still believe you need restriction on your document, be aware there are third-party apps that can remove these types of restrictions and security from documents. Don't place important content in headers and footers. The header and footer sections are not read by most screen readers because of the repeated information they contain. You can use headers and footers but limit the information you provide in them. You can place information that is not necessary for the screen reader, like background images, logos, or even page numbers. And most important, never place your main title on the first page in the header. While working on your documents, avoid practices that can cause accessibility problems. Certain techniques you do by habit might not be the best accessible method. Here are best practices to help with accessibility. Check for misspellings and grammar. Spelling and grammar checks are not functions of the accessibility checker, but important to accessibility. Screen readers can interpret misspellings as different words or skip them, which can cause confusion for some users. The Microsoft Office applications now have enhanced correction capabilities with better options for spelling and grammars. Make sure you always check your content. Don't place important content in headers and footers. Screen readers are usually configured to skip header and footer information to avoid users hearing repeated information. Headers and footers are also not tagged when converted to PDFs. So it's important you don't use them for important content like the title of the document. Instead, limit the information in headers and footers and use information that is not critical to the content, such as page numbers, a modified or revision date, or logos that are repeated throughout the document. Don't format headings without applying proper styles. Bolding or formatting text for headings only work for sighted users. Remember to also apply those headings from the styles by going to the Style section on the Home ribbon. Heading 1 for the main title of the document, and Heading 2 for all major subheadings. Don't use improper alt text for charts and graphs. All the data charts convey need to be available to screen readers. Using the title of the chart as alt text is not acceptable. Instead, add a text summary of the chart's data as content on the document. Place the summary adjacent to the chart and mark the chart decorative. This method will keep the chart for sighted users and also have the chart's information as text and available for screen readers. Don't use tables for layouts. Tables should only be used for data. When a screen reader encounters a table, it tells the user the number of rows and columns of the table. If your content is in a table for layout purposes, it makes it harder for the screen reader to navigate and find content on the document. Also, most importantly, any headers properly applied with styles are not recognized in table cells. Even when converted to PDFs, the headings are not recognized. Instead, place your content without a table. This will make it easier for screen readers to find your content. Don't have table titles in tables. Don't add any title or content of the table in the first row. The first row of the table is reserved for table headers. Instead, place the title of the table outside the table and use the first row for table headers. Don't use Excel spreadsheets as static content documents. It's very hard to make your content in Excel spreadsheets accessible. Spreadsheets should only be used for data sets. Instead, use Word to create static documents that provide better tables. If you have a document in Excel used in this manner, consider having the document in Word. It might take a long time to recreate the document in Word, but it will save you time with accessibility over time. Even if your intention is to convert the final document from Excel to PDF, it will still take a long time to make the fixes in Acrobat. Every time the Excel converts to PDF, the same fixes need to be redone. Depending on the document, some might take a long time to fix. Don't underline text. Only links should be underlined. Instead, use bold to emphasize importance if needed. Use the standard color of text for links. Links in certain text colors can be missed by colorblind users or overlooked by many other users. Instead, keep all the links formatted consistently and use the standard blue text for links. This is recognized by many users and meets color accessibility standards. Don't use watermarks. Watermarks get missed by screen readers. The text of the watermark does not get tagged and read, or sometimes the watermark and the content over the watermark get tagged as one image. Also, the light text color of the watermark might be missed by colorblind users. Instead, have the watermark text placed as content so it can be seen by colorblind users and read by screen readers. Don't place watermark text in headers or footers. Avoid text boxes. Text boxes are a quick way to add content to the document, but sometimes the content can get missed by screen readers or read out of order. Instead, add your text in the content of the document without text boxes and format that text so it can look like a text box. Use flowcharts with an outline. Flowcharts need to be read by screen readers in the correct order. Every decision, every action, or every step in the flowchart needs to be read in the correct order. The flowchart's title should not be the alt text. Instead, include a text outline of all the steps as part of the document, and mark the flowchart as an image decorative. Use proper tools for surveys and forms. Don't use Word or Excel to create forms. Instead, use the right tools for the right type of forms. Qualtrics for online surveys, Adobe Form Designer for PDF forms, or Jotform for online forms. Thank you for watching this presentation.